Like, I did not like this bitch. I did not like him like that.
Miss Crazy Biggity, what's crack? Done a friend and I passed that bitch through the team. Ass so fat, bustin' through the.
What's up, guys? Your boy Mouse here. Welcome back to my channel, and I'm back with another story time. And today I'm be talking about how I got punched in the mouth. Yeah, your boy got punched in the mouth. Not recently, but this happened like in first grade. So let me just explain what happened. So in first grade, I was the type of guy that was sweet, timid, a little less than what I am now, and I was really the type of person that was always just quiet, mind my business, and always just nice to everybody. But there was this one guy that didn't like me for some reason. We call him Skittles. We'll call him Skittles. And Skittles was the type of guy that had dreads, and he was black, and he was basically the bully of my class. And they all he always just tries to bully everyone to see who can step up to him, and most of them failed, but he never came to me. So one day this happened. I think it was like maybe a sunny day, it was like on a Thursday or something, and he just came up to me, and I just seen him giving me dirty looks. He was just had an attitude around me, and I do nothing to him, and so I was confused. So like every time I asked him for like a pencil or something, he was like what's the look for? And he would always just not bad mouth, oh my god, he used to always talk about me to everybody else, saying how, oh, I'm fat, oh, I'm this, and all the basic stuff that, you know, little kids do. And he always just does that. So when I asked him, like, why are you talking about me, he was like, oh, because I don't like you. I'm like, back then, I don't care if people don't like me now, but back then that used to like bother me, like people don't like me, because I used to be very confused on why a person didn't like me, because I was always a nice one in the class or in general in school. So that used to really bother me. I'm like, well, why you like me? And then he was like, oh, because you're annoying, and how you always just act like you're innocent, and you act like, oh, everybody's just so, you know, everybody should be so peachy or whatever. And I'm like, I'm just normally like that, and I'm normally nice in general, so I understand like why is that a reason for you to not like me. And he would just walk away like a little punk ass bitch. No hard feelings. If he's watching this now, there's no hard feelings, but back then that's how I felt, so it is what it is. So the next day, he was on his, like, was in a bad mood, and so he decided to pick on me. Like, he would always, whenever time we're doing math problems, we always had those little cute things, and we always just play with them and to see to figure out what math equation that my teacher listed on the board. By the way, my first grade math teacher, Miss Nguyen, she was so sweet. Like, she knew my family, and she knew how I was, and so she would always greet me with open arms, like, oh my god, Amancio, it's good to see you, and all that stuff. And she always just, you know, treat me like I'm the special one. Like, I always got the best treatment, but everybody else didn't, so it is what it is. And she was the most nice teacher that I had of that year. And so he used to get so upset about that, because he was just getting jealous that I was the one that was always in the teacher's attention, and always the one that was getting the notice by the teacher, basically. And he was always upset about that, because he was just basically annoyed about the fact that he was not the one getting those treatment too. And so when one day he came up to my table, because I was sitting in a group of 4, and he came up to my table, and he had a bottle of water. He poured the water down on my paper, and I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, because I felt like pouring the water down. I'm like, for what? And then I told his teacher, and he was got in trouble. I asked him, like, what was that for? He was like, oh, because I felt like doing it. I'm like, for what? Like, he was like, I did not like this bitch. I did not like him like that. So after that, Skittles just got on my nerves. He was always throwing stuff at me. He was always still talking about me to everybody else, but everybody knew who I was already, and they really didn't believe him like that. So it was kind of pointless. But I didn't really fight back then, but now I do. But like back then, I was just like letting it happen, just ignoring the situation. And one day I would have to go to the bathroom, and the way the boys' bathroom was set up in my old school was there was stalls by the door, and there was like a it was a big cube thing. It was a big cube thing that had more stalls. Urinals that had urinals on all over the side. So like one on this side, one in the back, and there was windows behind on the wall in the back. And I was trying to go to the urinal for the first time because I don't use the urinals. I go into the stalls because I don't like nobody seeing my crack or my booty or my privates, okay? And I went to the urinals to go to the bathroom. I didn't know he went behind me because when I went to the urinal that was closest to the wall, I hear him coming from the door and going to the side that I was on. And so I was singing because I was in such a good mood that day. And I was just singing, I think I was singing Justin Bieber, because back then I was a huge Justin Bieber fan back then. Like if I do a house tour on my show The Wall that I wrote Kiss Justin Bieber 2010, I don't know why, it was just so corny, but I just wrote that, and I was singing, it was not Baby, but it was something from My World 2.0. So you guys, it was not a Justin Bieber album. I don't know where my head was at because the album didn't even come out yet, but it was a song back in 2008. I forgot, but it was somewhere around that era. And I was singing the tune of it, and so he came up to me down to the urinal I was at, and I looked at him, and he was just looked at me like give me a death stare. I'm like, what did I do to you? You keep on bothering me. That's what I said. I said, you keep on bothering me, you keep on picking on me, you keep on talking about me. What's the main issue that you have with me? And that's when he just was in his moment. And I guess that as soon as I pulled my pants up and started walking back, he punched me in my mouth. And he was like, I'm like, oh my God. And mind you, when I saw my two front teeth drop on the floor and I felt my two front teeth missing in my mouth, I was so traumatized, you guys. Like I never got punched in the mouth. I never was in a physical altercation when I was in first grade. And so when he punched in my mouth, I felt that. And when I saw blood come from my mouth, I started to cry. Like, listen, I don't really cry now, but like back then I started to cry. Like, it was really traumatizing because I never ever got punched in my mouth or anywhere in my body ever. And so I just started to cry. Like, I'm like, oh my God, my two front teeth is on the floor. Oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, listen. You know how Kim Kardashian had that crying face?
You're sitting there laughing. It's not funny.
That was me times 100. Like, I had the worst crying face. Like, I had the ugliest crying face, and I was just so distraught. I was so emotional because I never saw my two front teeth fall on the floor like that. And especially like my teeth, it was already bad. Like, it was not even that good. Like, my two front teeth, like the only good structured teeth I had at the time. And when I fell on the floor, oh my, it was so sad. Like, when I ran from the stall, I ran outside to get a teacher, and the teacher started crying. He was like, oh my God, what's wrong? I'm like, that kid just punched me in my mouth. Like, I'm not having this. I didn't say I'm not having this, but like, I just basically said, I need to go. And he just came out the bathroom like he was the shit. Like, he was the shit. Like, oh my God. He came out the bathroom and he was just like, I punched him in his mouth, like without any type of emotion. He just straight out, flat out said, admitted it. And the teacher was like, why did you do that? And then he was like, oh, because I felt like it. I'm like, I was just, listen, I was so pissed. I was pissed. I was sad. Like, so many emotions just came to me all at once. I'm like, what? It's like the first time that I ever swore. I'm like, what
the fuck would you punch in my mouth? And what I do to you?
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. It was mad funny. Like, I was so upset with him. He had the nerve to punch me in my mouth for no reason, and I was just like, what was the point of this? And so I guess he went to the teacher's office, which was like the second floor above the bathroom, and he had his parents called, and I went to the classroom, back to my first grade teacher's classroom. She seen what happened. I told him what happened. Oh, the students was like, yo. They didn't say yo, like, oh my god. They were all looking at me. I'm like, I look like Bessie Higginbottom. You guys remember the Mighty B? You know how Bessie Higginbottom had no front teeth, but like those two on the sides and one gap in the middle? That's what I looked like. Oh my gosh, y'all. And then she was like, that was unnecessary, and that was so disrespectful. And that's when the next day my parents were called. They were told what happened. His parents was there, and so they had like a meeting, and I didn't really go because I stayed home. And from what I remember, my parents were telling me that boy was that boy's so mean. And my parents are the type of parents to where when they go off, when it comes something happens to me, they really be so furious and fumed for like the entire day. So that entire day they was non-stop talking about the situation, and he was crying because he was like, oh my god, I didn't really want to come down to this. And then he was crying. I think that's what my parents remember. My grandmother, she was pissed off because of what happened, and I had to go get some ice because it was just bad. And my mom, she was upset because she was like, why did you do that to you? I told her, like, he was just bothering me the whole time. It happened like for the past 2 months. He kept on bullying me, and for no reason. And she was like, you better beat that nigga's ass. I'm like, oh my god. Like, back then my mom really didn't want me to listen to her talk about if somebody bothers me, you better beat them up. But I didn't really listen back then because I thought fighting was not gonna solve anything. Well, yeah, I was wrong, and I learned how to fight. And from that situation, I think he didn't came back to that school. He left, and that was like the last time I seen him like attend that school. And in general, I haven't seen him in years. It's been like 11 years since that happened. Yeah, and that's it. I really don't really care about him now. There's no hard feelings. He's just kind of irrelevant to me, to my life in general. And yeah, that's it. Guys, so I try my best to explain the story time and explain what happened. But if you liked it, then make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share your thoughts on what you liked, what you didn't like, and your opinion of the situation. Until next time, bye my loves.
There's no bitches born. You think I'm on TV and torn. You saw me in London with Lauren. You could be my man.